Hello, my lovey. Let's keep talking about Stoic philosophy. It is thebomb.com, and I'll tell you why. We've already reviewed the dichotomy of control, what we can control, what we cannot. We've talked about the negative visualization as well as the view from above. That's where I talk about telescoping. Get out there, see yourself within the whole setting because, get a little perspective. And of course, the virtues, the four cardinal virtues of Stoicism: wisdom, justice, moral courage, and temperance, which is self control and moderation. That's a struggle for myself because dang, food and wine be tasting good. And of course, philosophical journaling, right? We've got the meditations of Marcus Aurelius to give us a nice big old blueprint of how to do that. But what are we going to talk about this week? Hold on, I'll tell you. We are going to talk about the Stoic approach to mindfulness as well as emotions. Okay, so the Stoics' version of mindfulness, it is all about not suppressing emotions, right? We say stoic like they have no emotions. They're just very still and serious and severe. Well, that's really not what it's about. But let's dive in and talk about how we can use these stoic philosoph- philosophical clues to help us become more emotionally resilient. So we could modern wise, we associate mindfulness with, meditation, and the Stoics had their own version of present moment awareness. Marcus Aurelius, in his meditations, do not let imagination be crushed by life as a whole. Don't try to picture everything bad that could happen. Stick with the situation at hand. Now, this is different than the other exercise, which promotes gratitude, right? When you really think about what negative could happen, and then you're grateful because it hasn't happened. And that also is a reminder to yourself of what can you control versus what can you not control. But focusing on the present moment, bang, that is stoicism right there. Not getting lost in all the anxieties about the future, regrets about the past. And how does it differ from our current 21st century modern mindfulness techniques? The Stoics focus on ethical action. There's those cardinal values. Modern mindfulness, it emphasizes more of a non-judgmental awareness. Be aware of the feeling, notice it, be curious, and just leave it there. However, the Stoics, it wasn't just about being aware for them, but about being aware so that they could act virtuously within alignment of their cardinal virtues. And Stoic rationality, that's all about how they put the emphasis on using reason to understand our experiences. It's not for them just about observing thoughts and feelings. It's also about analyzing them, discovering why. What is this going to do for me? Does this help me? Is there anything I can do about this? And they always kept in mind that cosmic perspective, right? We remember that from the view from above exercise, when you zoom out to seeing, the earth as a whole, and then you zoom in to see your nation and then where you are and understand how important or not you are in the larger scheme of things. Stoic mindfulness is all about that broader perspective. And when you consider all the stars in the sky, all the people on the planet, grains of sand, saltiness in the ocean, it can help us understand that there is a larger picture. And therefore, our shenanigans of the day may not actually be all that important. Well, what? You want to try a stoic exercise? Well, okay, we will. Let's do a Stoic mindful exercise. So take a moment and let's focus on your current situation. I mean, literally right now, what sensations do you notice in your body? Right? I can feel the floor. I'm standing. I just put my hands in my pockets so I can feel the fabric. All right. Well, interesting. Let's also see what thoughts are passing through my mind. Obviously, I want this podcast to go well. I want to make sure that I explain this clearly for you so that you can, use it as best you will. Well, okay, now to take it to the Stoic level, what is the way I can act, the way you can act in this moment that aligns most with those virtues? Oh, okay. Well, I've already done my prep. I am have my outline of what I'm going to talk with you about on this podcast, and I know how I'm going to share it. I'm going to, try to be humorous and fun and keep it lively, and also not dumb it down or make it inaccessible, right? Because some of the stuff can get a little. But once we consider the knowledge of what our body is doing, the knowledge of what our mind is doing. Hmm. Now, thinking about the way I can act in accordance with those virtues, well, this is a very simple practice to help ground you in the present and to align your actions with your values. You get to say what your values are, and you get to continually review them so that you can see, do you behave in a way that is in alignment with your values? And we don't always, right? Because, we get hangry, we get tired, we get, all the things start happening at once and you get jagged energy. I know I do. Holy shamoly, do I ever? And so then once anxiety is like, hey, let me come over and F you up. Well, okay, great. Now we have another opportunity to really ground ourselves in the moment, see what's going on, and be sure that we're behaving in alignment with our virtues. Okay. So let's move on and talk about another misconception about Stoicism. And that's the idea that Stoics would be suppressing or ignoring their emotions. Not so. Okay. That's not what it's about. They're, obviously Stoics are deeply interested in emotions. However, they approach emotions in a different way. So Epictetus said it's not things that upset us, right? It's not events, it's not things, it's our judgments. I mean, things that happen, they're not right or wrong. It just is or isn't, right? The thing happened, and then we decide to put a value on it, like, oh, it's hurting me, or I'm the victim, or I'm angry about that. But the event itself, meh, that just is, right? If you're stuck in traffic, you might be getting hot under the collar, but the traffic isn't causing your irritation and your agitation. No, it's your lens that sees that the traffic shouldn't be there. You should be able to move freely on the highway or on the road to get to where you're going to go to work. Well, the traffic itself isn't causing any emotion. Our judgment about the traffic, now that is what ruins our day. Change the judgment, change the emotion. Expectation is the enemy of happiness. And it doesn't mean that if you're going to embrace Stoic philosophy that you don't feel your emotions. No, of course you do. But you can approach them rationally and therefore avoid becoming overwhelmed by them. And the Stoic approach to that would simply be identify the emotion. And this is just so powerful if you're like I am and you came into adulthood just being told to suppress, any feeling you have, any opinion that you have. Well, even just identifying the feeling is daunting. And then it's really powerful because I can say, haha, rage tsunami coming on me now. I can distance myself from that by identifying the emotion. And then step two, I can pause and examine the beliefs, the judgments that are causing this emotion. Going back to the traffic analogy, I'm annoyed because I'm sitting here and not moving. This is a 55-mile-an-hour road. I should be able to move. Well, okay. And yet, every day practically, there's going to be this slowdown, there's going to be this stop. So, when I examine my beliefs, my judgments that cause the irritation with the traffic, the anger with the traffic, oh, okay, I can see what that is. Next step, question. You know, I love me some curiosity. Question whether your beliefs are rational and within your control. All right, humble pie, come on over. I'll have a snack. Okay, great. It's irrational for me to expect that there's not going to be traffic in the morning because I don't live on a farm where I'm the only person going up a road. I'm moving into a business area, and so is everyone else who works there. There's a reason those skyscrapers are there, those big buildings are there. It's because they're filled with other workers. So it's not reasonable for me to think that there will not be traffic. Additionally, can I control the traffic? Unless you've got some mad telekinesis powers, I don't think that you can really control anything about the traffic. And so that harkens back to the dichotomy of control exercise. Big circle, all the concerns, little circle, the concerns we can do something about. And then the last step, adjust your perspective as needed. So I can say, unreasonable for me to think there's not going to be any traffic. Maybe it's uncommon for it to be at this time. Well, other people got tired of the traffic and left a little earlier as well. Or, they built a new hospital there, or there could be something I don't even know about. It is a fallacy and a fool's errand to think that we are going to know everything that goes into all of the things that impact our lives. We simply don't. Are they opening a new medical clinic and there's 200 more people employed there? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not in that industry, right? So let's practice. Go over it again. Another common scenario. All right, you are passed over for a promotion at work. You got the feels. You're pissed. You're disappointed. All right, step one: identify. Mm, I am feeling disappointed and angry. All right, step two: examine. Why is this? Well, I believe I deserve that promotion. I think it's unfair I didn't get it. It went to that chucklehead over there and not me. All right. Okay, so let's question this. Is it rational to believe I was guaranteed this promotion? Is the fairness of the decision within my control? Now, it can be rational to believe that I have the experience, the skills, the whatever for that position, sure. And if it's not fair, or if the other person has some skills or something that I don't know about, then I'm going to feel like it's unjust. However, let's say it is. Let's say they did get some schmoo in who can't do anything. Well, can I do anything about the fairness of that decision? Huh. Nope. It's not my decision to make. So the adjustment becomes, all right, it's natural. I feel disappointed. And I can only control what I do. I cannot control other people's decisions. I can do my work. I can put my best foot forward. All of those things I can control. However, when it comes time to decide, I can't control all the factors that go into that decision. What I can do is use this lack of promotion, this missing this promotion. I can use that as motivation. I can improve my skills. I can seek feedback. I can find out what areas of growth I need to address. Now, that's what you can do. So keep in mind, you want to identify, examine, question, and then adjust. And that's how you can, feel your feelings. I'm not saying, feelings aren't good or bad. We need to recognize them, feel them, have them move through their due course. But rather than being stuck in a ruminating circle of injustice, where all you can think and talk about is the fact that so and so got the promotion and you didn't, and that's just, terribly unfair. And I mean, that's cool for a few minutes, but like, then you have some choices to make. What can you do? You can take active steps to improve within the same company. You can take active steps to find a different job. You can change industries for the love. At least if you're in America, you can. So there are things that are within our control, and we get to put those together. So tying the gorgeous Stoic mindfulness and the emotional approach together, we practice present moment awareness. We become better at being aware and catching our emotional reactions as they happen. And then that is what gives us the opportunity to examine and potentially adjust our judgments before we're swept away by this strong tide of emotion, by being present and aware as it happens. So, how can you do this at home? Well, let me tell you. So, daily practice. Set aside a few minutes each day for a mindfulness check in. You're going to notice your current thoughts, your feelings, your bodily sensations. Is there any tightness? Is there any aching? Like what's going on in your body? Is your stomach upset? And if you notice strong emotions, well, let's get curious. Examine the judgments behind them. Embrace that it's not the events that happen that cause your feelings. Your judgments, your expectations, that's what causes the feelings when these events play out. Fourthly, we get to ask ourselves, is this judgment rational? And is it within my control? Time for a perspective shift. Focus on what you can control. And keep in mind, the goal isn't to suppress emotions, it's just to approach them rationally and to not be ruled by them. We have emotions, they don't have us. We're not slaves to our emotions. And, as Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, it's how you react to it. So keep all that in mind and let's wrap it up, baby. We've got Stoic mindfulness, focuses on present moment awareness with an emphasis on ethical action and rational analysis. The Stoics are always going back to their values, their virtues. Yours may not align perfectly with them. That's fine. Define yours so that you can behave in a way that kicks all the ass and aligns with who you are. Because whatever happens around us, that's not under our control. How we respond to it, oh hell yeah, that's us. We are moving through this earth behaving as the person we choose to be. If you want to be a rampaging id, just careening off the walls, swept away with emotion, that is your choice. If you don't want that, if you don't want to be at the whim of your emotions, you get to choose that as well. Right? Do these exercise. You're not suppressing emotions. You're approaching them rationally. You're examining the judgments behind them. You're getting curious about why it is that you think or feel a certain way about something. And you get to change it if you don't agree with it. Every instinct and thought and reaction we have isn't necessarily valid or true. I mean, it's our reaction and it's fine. It's not good or bad. It just is how we're reacting. And we get to step back and say, like, well, is it reasonable? Like, do I expect to be the only person driving? Do I expect to be the only person for consideration for a promotion? Well, that's not reasonable. There's many managers putting people up for promotions. And even if it is pointed and unfair, well, then you also still have choices you can make for yourself. Are you going to move? Move from that job, go to another job, go to a different department. So mindfulness, approaching emotions rationally, and then combining the mindfulness with emotional analysis, that logic that we're applying. Oh, bada bing, that is where you're going to get to your resilience. You're going to have this gorgeous equanimity in your daily life. You're not going to be roiling as the boat just lashes you from side to side. You're going to, I see I'm having a strong reaction. Oh, I'm having it because of this reason. Interesting. Well, why do I think that it's logical for me to expect that? Huh. What can I actually control? And when you do this again and again and again, it gets easier, and you are talking to the number one hothead of days of yore, I am telling you. But, next up in this Stoic series, we're going to explore how to apply Stoic principles to adversity, to practical modern living, and until then, please, please, I encourage you, practice Stoic mindfulness and emotional analysis. Notice how these practices impact your daily experiences, your daily reactions. And thank you for listening to ZFG Living Podcast. Please share this podcast with anyone you think might benefit. And until next time, may you rock some tranquility in the present moment and achieve wisdom in your emotions. Hugs, hugs, hugs.